is the right to tell what they do not want to hear. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. Tired of the same repetitive government narratives? Then wave goodbye to the distractions and rhetoric of corporate media. For this is Anti-Media Radio.
I want to get the language right. The government is in trouble.
You're all a bunch of slaves! Bunch of slaves!
What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but it's love and wisdom and compassion toward one another.
What's your definition of me?
And now, here's your host, S.M. Gibson.
Welcome to Anti-Media Radio. This is your host, S.M. Gibson. We are here live tonight with the Democratic National Convention. I'm going to go ahead and bring on our co-host for the evening, Shannon Madden, Kevin Knight.
I could kill you right now.
Yeah, it looks like we just had some sound problems.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. I'm going to put that one in
sound
the record
director.
book.
That's sound director right there.
At least the first.
I didn't have sound.
I directed it one way. Now, whether it went to where it was supposed to go, it was definitely directed on my end the way that it was supposed to be directed to.
That's all right.
The first round sounded
The
pretty
dude
good.
abides.
Yeah, it sounded good for a second.
Oh, man, y'all missed it great. I mean, we really had some earth-shattering, groundbreaking stuff we were talking about. So
it was amazing.
So now let's just go ahead and do the regular show.
Probably the best 3 minutes we ever did in the show. You know, we're not even on the air.
Complete silence.
That's
yeah.
It. All right.
Oh man.
So I tell you what, I want to say that right, this is the moment you realize that the people telling you they're going to fight against the big banks, they're holding their convention in a building named after Wells Fargo. Like, how ridiculous is that? That people are saying they're going to help us, they're going to fight them. On the name of the building tells you who owns what's going on.
The biggest donor, if I remember correctly, corporate contributor to the Clinton campaign was Goldman Sachs. Am I correct in that assumption?
Well, that's probably every campaign as well.
Yeah, true. But she's been pretty cozy with them for a while. She has a lot of speeches she gets paid for from them.
Probably her and Elizabeth Warren both.
Yeah.
Both big so-called enemies of the banks.
So, are we gonna try to do this? We're gonna see how long we can stomach this. Chelsea's on right now.
Oh man,
and this could get pretty funny.
Yeah, but it's Chelsea. I don't know. I kind of feel bad about making fun of Chelsea.
All right, we can wait.
Yeah, just hold off on all that
before that cackle gets up there.
For all of you just joining us, we did a broadcast Tuesday of the reemergence of Bill Clinton, and we actually kind of talked over the audio. I don't know. I don't really know.
We just played it live.
I just don't want to talk over Chelsea. I really don't. There's nothing sexy about that.
Mystery Science Theater. That's what this is.
This doesn't seem fair. It's like trying to talk over Sarah Palin. I mean, come on, let the woman speak. It's cute.
Really? He's going to get hurt.
You can still mute Sarah Palin.
She is so cute,
I wouldn't compare them, but I will say, at least in Chelsea Clinton's defense, like, you have to give her some sympathy. Her parents are Bill Clinton and Hillary.
Yeah, she can't help
like,
who
you
her
can't
parents
help
are.
it. No,
Yeah.
she can't help, but that's her parents. That's her parents.
Just like you can't help like what country you're born in.
You have to kind of keep that in the back of your mind as you kind of view her. Yeah. That's not completely her fault because that was her.
So we have to kind of extend the same sympathy that we reserve for Syrian refugees. We have to use that same sympathy for Chelsea Clinton. I understand.
Right. Yeah. she's collateral damage.
Yeah. I wish everybody listening just saw the look that Kevin gave me when I said that.
Hey, I was waiting for it to go somewhere. I didn't know.
You knew it was going somewhere. It always does. Oh.
So it looks like the protesters are getting loud.
And you notice that now that Hillary's on the main stage, there's no news. Like, there's name one other national event that's going on right now, other than what's.
Did you know North Korea declared war on the United States
again?
Is Hillary speaking in North Korea tonight? Next topic.
Yeah, North Korea declared war on the United States.
The very first woman nominee for the Democratic Party. History is being made right now, and you're sitting over there talking about North Korea.
Right now, like Turkey, they are just rounding people up. Like, it's turning into, like, it's really like Hitler, way past Hitler kind of level. Like, they're just rounding people up, raping, torturing people. Nobody says anything.
Yeah. The international community has gotten silent, waiting with bated breath for Hillary Clinton to emerge in her pantsuit and declare victory.
Yeah, nobody even, like, knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And then, okay, you've got the idiot moron politicians talking about Russia.
The people that kind of stir up these situations.
Yeah.
And benefit off of them, of course. I'm still curious to see as to what's really going behind the scenes with the Turkish coup. There have been whispers and rumors of something more nefarious than just a normal, ordinary coup and placing blame in certain places.
Yeah,
and
there's
so
people blaming. There's finger pointing this way, as usual.
I don't think that we've gotten the full narrative of what's going on there. I mean, we are in a media blackout from there. We were only getting little bits and pieces.
We know they're shutting down all their media.
Yeah. That's
what we know.
And again, so what we're trying to explain to you about what little bit we do know. There's other stuff going on there that's even more darker and more nefarious that we don't know about because of the media blackout.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, that's.
You kept up with that much, Kevin?
Yeah, I've seen the headlines. Journalists, teachers, All sorts of stuff, really. Yeah, and they're blaming a cleric here and lives in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
they're
demanding that he be
and you can't really blame Ergodon. I probably screwed his name
Close
up.
enough.
Yeah, close enough.
We know who
Sorry.
you're talking about.
I'm 3 cups of coffee in, so just I'm still getting your name right. So that's a plus. No, I mean,
authoritarians do what authoritarians do.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. Interesting to see how it plays out.
Well, coup or not, alleged coup or not, dictators and would-be dictators and strongmen. It doesn't matter which country it is. It goes to show you that it's always invariably that's what happens. The state, the authorities, the powers that be, if you will, are going to grab power, and that's what we're seeing right now from journalists, teachers, even students. I saw, I don't know, I forget exactly the number, but some, astronomical when you even think about it, that one child would be arrested, but all these kids are even being arrested and being charged with being so-called, being called so-called enemies. So it's not stopping. It's not just your teachers, your educators, your political prisoners that you'd usually expect. I mean, we're talking about children being blamed as potential terrorists. Yeah. It's just a few weeks ago we saw a lot of the churches and religious centers closed down. So, yeah, there's a lot of issues with one of America's so-called best allies over in the Middle East.
Did you hear that they're deploying more troops, Russia is, because of NATO in Crimea?
Not surprised, but it's funny you say it because I just watched a speech. I mentioned it last week. I actually got to watch the full speech this afternoon. It's a speech that Putin gave, and he was actually speaking to the Western media. And he was discussing basically, warning the Western media that, hey, listen, there's a lot of stuff going on that you guys are not
need to start paying
reporting.
attention to that.
Yeah, really, and quit stoking the fires because you're not, we know and the United States knows what's going on, and the media is pretty much, like
Let me tell you something. For people that want to get away with doing stuff, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are the greatest thing to ever happen in the history of the world for these people. They don't have to worry about distractions or this or that. They can just literally start doing what they want because it is a full-time distraction.
What better time to do it between now and November?
Right. You can do anything you want.
You really can, can't you?
Yeah.
And that's probably been, if there's never any you could probably do that any U.S. election, but I would say that the way we've been heading, that every...
You want proof of that? They released the 28 pages.
Good point. Right here just a few weeks ago.
They did. Okay.
28 pages. What's that?
Yeah. And just brushed it off because at the same...
The 28 pages about Hillary's emails?
The same exact time that coup was kicking off. Right within hours of each other.
Was it 28 pages?
So that rushed over the news.
Trump
and then it
quotes?
went back to the election. And then the 28 pages became like a 5-second...
What 28 pages are you talking about? I've never heard of this before.
Oh, my gosh.
Exactly.
Yeah, it really did. It popped up.
I saw it on Headline News, and they go, well, they released the 28 pages, and a Saudi representative said, this proves that we did nothing wrong, and that was it.
Activists and people around the world have literally been fighting for this for the last, for 50 years.
We have on this show mentioned it so many times ad nauseum. And then it finally comes out, and then suddenly the Turkish coup happens, and suddenly more Hillary and more Trump, and next thing you know, what happened was 28 pages.
60 Minutes had an article about it. Saudi Arabia came out and said they were going to dump billions of U.S. assets.
So that should prove that they can do whatever they want right now because the media is just all Trump, all Hillary, all the time.
Yeah.
The Russian stuff, I'm telling you, pay attention to it. Cause
I think there's some truth to it.
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
And it's, we talked about it the other night, but it's NATO. Forcing Russia's hand, it looks like, and they're just staring back and forth at each other, which NATO is,
Yeah, that's, where have we heard that story from before? I think this is much ado about nothing. It's more of a display of power, Now, for what, we don't know. I think it's probably because of, and correct me if I'm wrong, Russia's insistence on moving into Syria to help out with that whole ISIS situation.
No, it goes way beyond that.
Of course it does. But that was the most recent display of, Russia kind of sneakily, bursting onto the international scene and swatting the United States back.
Well, they actually asked. That to their credit, they actually asked, and they went to basically the Obama administration and the U.S. and attempted
which
to
has
work.
Not been widely reported.
No, right, and tried to work, kind of give at least the U.S. A little bit of opportunity to come in and do something with it. Of course, they basically called checkmate against the U.S. because this ultimately went after the same organizations the U.S. is funding, obviously. So
that is a perfect analogy.
Well, and you're absolutely right. That's Russia kind of came in and more or less they were going to act regardless, but it's a really good move on their part. They really made Obama kind of show his hand and show that it's a crock.
And it's continuing to do so, and now with NATO countries involved in it. Now it's going to be interesting to see when the shit finally does hit the fan. Pardon the pun, or pardon the phrase. Who's actually going to stand with NATO, or who's going to kind of slide back just a little bit and say, I'm going to let you guys deal with this. I don't see all of the NATO countries backing this. I really don't. Dead silence from both of you.
I'm sitting here reading the thing about Tony Blair. I don't know if you've heard about him, but he's got implicated in the Iraq.
Is he speaking at the DNC tonight?
And he's still
shut up about it.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Did y'all hear about al-Nusra and Al-Qaeda split?
Again?
Yeah, they confirmed the split to protect the Syrian revolution. So
what did they confirm the split to protect?
Yeah. Al-Nusra confirmed it. So yeah. So.
Well, good news. Now the U.S. can continue to give weapons to Al-Nusra and at least have some plausible deniability there when they say we weren't giving them to Al-Qaeda.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what that's about.
So there's now a clear record that they separated. So
we need to have Justin on. I need to try to get him on and talk about what's going on over there, because he would educate people a lot better than at least I would.
Justin King with the fifth column. Look him up. He's a righteous dude.
I hate to even look, but I want to check and see if old idiot Hillary's up the top. Oh gosh, there's her face.
You really you just want to hear her voice, don't you?
Mm-hmm, I do.
Don't. I think we should have went with
I think it'll be entertaining. Look, it's history. This is the deal, okay? It is historic, and it's like this is the greatest WrestleMania. This is a WrestleMania event.
Except it's not being covered. We're not seeing it near.
And I want to laugh at it.
Did you see the banner that some of the DNC people, I guess, viewers, people there would say contestants. Contestants is probably a little more of a word more appropriate, but considering that there was really no contest, it was all rigged. Perhaps there's a better word for it. But there was a big homemade sign hanging up from the banner from the one like the second story, the balcony there that said WikiLeaks rigged election, something to that effect. But it's funny because the lights were actually taken out over that section. They were darkened, so you really couldn't see it on television very well. But
yeah.
I mean, there's so much pandemonium taking place that most of your average viewers are never going to even hear about.
I had somebody send me a video today on Twitter, and it was of a delegate talking about how they are getting people to come in there and be like placeholders for the seats when people walk out.
Oh, I can believe that.
To make it look like it's not empty.
Right. Totally believe that.
And I saw... I can't confirm because there was no link, so I just saw a screenshot of it. But there was a screenshot of a Craigslist ad saying pay you $50 to come down there.
I saw that too. I saw that.
That's absolutely ridiculous to me because all they had to do was announce that Alabama Crimson Tide head coach Nick Saban was there, and that place would be full 24/7. He wouldn't even have to be in the building. Just put the word out that he might be there and he might be signing some footballs. Just throwing that out there. Really? Remember that one movie, that great movie that she was in, that she almost got nominated for the Oscar?
Who spoke earlier? They showed Lance Bass earlier.
Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen.
Yeah.
That's
good grief. I mean, it really is just a bunch of celebrities telling people what to do.
I never knew Ted Danson's dad was an archaeologist. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, the sad thing is all these stories that we're talking about that's going on around the world, like even the presidential candidates aren't bringing them up.
Why should they? I mean, that's some brown people over in a
nobody's
somewhere else that nobody cares about. This is about our future right now. Don't you understand?
That was
that if we don't elect
Hillary, she's going to lead us
Hillary
into the future, and it's like that is true, Bill.
If we don't elect Hillary, first off, we hate women. We hate women if we don't elect Hillary.
No, it doesn't work with her, man.
She is the woman candidate.
Any other woman, that's maybe true, but not in this case. Nobody looks at her like a woman. They don't. Nobody has sympathy for her.
That right there proves your sexist attitude right there. White America.
Trump, Republican.
It's because she's so vile and hated.
If you don't vote for Hillary, you're going to let that evil, evil man, that arrogant man,
let me tell you
waltz into the White House and ruin this country and destroy it.
I hate to be that guy, but Barack Obama, just in terms of historic, that is about 20 times a bigger deal than a woman, because we already had Margaret Thatcher, a huge woman leader in the West. We've had women running off and on for president, being on the ticket in one way or another. But we're talking about people were brought over here as slaves, and he became the president of the United States. We're talking about a race of people who went from slave to running the place. Mm-hmm. And I get women had it rough. I'm not saying they didn't, but they weren't brought over here on ships and made to work out in the field. Mm-hmm. So that's way more historic to me. Just my take on it, whatever it's worth.
Well, I mean,
I'd like to add the Libertarian Party actually ran somebody for president and vice president some 50 years ago almost. So, yeah, I think it's laughable that they'll use any excuse to hype the Clinton administration as some sort of record-breaking, when really, corruption is probably at the highest. This may be the first woman president we may ever have, but this will probably be one of the ones, if she was to get elected, if she gets elected like a lot of people think she might. She's going to go into office being one of probably the most corrupt person to ever be elected. And during a time when there's more turmoil surrounding her, and now we see the IRS, the Clinton Foundation, being investigated now. And can you imagine that this person is who is actually the candidate for the second largest party in America?
Can I just throw something out here real quick, and a thought just occurred to me. Remember a point in time in history when it was all about Hillary Rodham Clinton?
Rotten now?
Remember Rodham?
Yeah, they don't do that no more.
No. I hadn't done that for a while now. Particularly during this election. It's all been about Miss Clinton.
They're going to bring it back now really, because
they do it like Oprah now. She's just Hillary. If you think about it.
Kind of,
her branding is just Hillary.
We're going to see
it's really down, her branding's down to H because of
H.
Yeah.
Like the little sticker in the window, yeah.
But her branding is down to an H because of Twitter's everything with hers an H, and then her logo.
Well, you guys saw that Donald picked up a new word for her now. Is Hillary rotten?
Oh.
So I guarantee we'll start seeing that name will be coming back, and we'll start hearing Rodham. Now that he is his
Clinton.
Yeah, because her
that's what he does. It follows. It's like a playbook. You can imagine. I'm telling you, this will be Donald Trump is writing a playbook.
He is laughing over this convention because
who wouldn't be?
Because first off, their ratings are going down in their convention week. Do you understand the ratings are going down in their biggest week of popularity that they're going to have?
When you expect they would be bouncing all
right, and it's going down. Like this is that's why I have been going over and over and over and over. She will never, ever, 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 ever be president. I knew this was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to happen so soon, but I knew once the debate hit, like there was no running for her. It was over finally. Like all these decades, it was going to be over. And it looks like it may be coming sooner than expected.
I don't know. Well,
because he talks like a professional wrestler.
People have very short memories.
So ridiculous,
and it's kind of
he's going to destroy her.
Bear with me for a minute. People kind of have and you just stated it a moment ago, or I think Kevin did, about the 140 characters used in Twitter. I mean, that's how rapid fire people's
and that's what
memory
he
is.
That's what he is. Don't forget, that's what he is.
He's not going.
He's a walking Twitter.
He won't let up between now and November.
Right. He's a walking.
But
Twitter
we all
fan.
know that the system's rigged, correct?
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Reagan got in too. If you can still do it, but you got to bring everybody with you. And he had the money to do it.
You just have to about take a bullet these days.
He had the money to do it. He's a good enough marketer to do it.
Yeah, and she's definitely got the money. God.
Right. Well, she don't count. She's got all that, but.
Well, it's her legacy also, you know.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to feel like this is destined to be your position. I'm sure she's probably willing to throw every dollar they have at it.
Well, this is her final vindication, I guess, for the Rodham family name.
It possibly would save her a lot of hassle. What other way would you be able to clear any investigation?
Johnson cleared up all his business.
Oh, well, I think it'll be vindication for marrying, poor white trash from Arkansas, made good, and then that whole...
Oh, she's already been vindicated for that.
Yeah.
She's gone farther.
Yeah, it's been all about the presidency for her. And she
all
she
cares about.
She has been a company man from day one.
She's but
I don't know.
She's whatever she has to be, man. Like she will literally, if it was in her best interest to get the people on her side, she would do it.
Didn't we make a bet earlier this season?
Oh, that she would never be president?
Yeah, I think we did.
Well, she's not. Still to this day.
I think I made that bet with somebody else.
No, it was me. Because I told you.
I'm going back in the archives during the break.
Which you can look up on
that clip.
Which you can find on YouTube by searching for UCY Anti-Media Radio. And also, make sure to listen to us live every Tuesday and Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And Nick Burnaby, the editor-in-chief, the head honcho here at Anti-Media, is on Monday and Wednesdays at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific. And Love On is on Friday night at the same Anti-Media UCY time. All right. I did all the reminding people when and where to listen spiel that you got to do.
Check that off
check it off the list.
The shameless self-promotion.
Yeah, that you got to do to remind
Got to
people.
pay the bills.
Well, it's kind of.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, going back to what I was saying, the system is rigged.
Oh, certainly. But
what you're suggesting, the only way that it's actually going to happen, though, is if somehow miraculously this election is not fussed with, and actually people get to go out and vote, and their vote is counted. You really think that's going to happen?
You can do it if there's enough. If there's enough.
Bernie fans out there, represent. You think it's going to happen?
I understand what you're saying. Reagan did it.
Donald Trump is not Ronald Reagan. Where have you been?
Jimmy Carter did it. Jimmy Carter was an
we've never said American politics. American politics, particularly at this level, has never seen a candidate like Donald Trump. And I don't think
Reagan became a corporate man after he got shot.
Donald Trump is not Ronald Reagan.
I'm telling you.
Why is it? No,
it's the same
not.
shit. It is.
It's Barney Fife versus Barney Miller. No.
It's the same shit. It's just a 2016 Twitter version. It's the
Whatever.
Kanye Kim Kardashian.
It's
the post-Kardashian society's version of this.
You're on drugs.
Nope. Telling you, it's very similar.
I feel like Shannon's arguing on behalf of all of our parents' view of Ronald Reagan.
No. Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump.
No, Reagan
are
had
two
decent ideas to
different
a
people.
degree. He wasn't perfect by any means, but he had some decent ideas on some stuff.
Completely different.
The problem
people.
with Reagan was he did the exact opposite of everything he said he was ever going to do.
That. He definitely did that.
But Reagan did, like in the late 70s, he about the economy, he actually did say some good stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah.
He never did a single thing.
No.
He never did any of it.
Well, he did something.
But
What he was talking about.
He could sell that message. Ron Paul loved him.
Well, at that point, he actually worked for his campaign.
And then it turned into, wait, what you doing here, Ron?
Well, we got to remember too,
You're spending a little too much.
At that point, Congress had a tendency. There were a lot more separation of powers between the president and Congress at that point as well. A lot more so than what there is these days, right?
Yeah.
So. There were a few more checks and balances back then, but I completely agree with what you're saying, and I do see similarities between the two. His "Make America Again" obviously is a play on Reagan's old speech. Of course, what's his name? Reagan's son thinks
Ron Reagan.
Trump, didn't think anything. No.
This is the second consecutive show that we brought Ron Reagan up. That is so random. Go ahead.
Hoo-yah.
I like Ron Reagan.
I don't really have an opinion other than I know he passed the. He's not as big a Second Amendment supporter as a lot of people think.
Oh, he's liberal. He's so liberal, it's not even
liberal,
funny. Yeah, he's liberal.
Oh, yeah. You know who I saw earlier was Wesley Clark. He was there.
Mr.
Hold on. I'm sorry.
7 country in 5 years.
Oh, you're going to do it, aren't you?
I'm sorry.
It is still going strong.
Bernie.
You know, that conversation has lasted through good times that filled us with joy and hard times that tested us.
Hard times.
And
Monica
I've
Lewinsky.
even gotten a few words in along the way. On Tuesday night, I was so happy to see that my explainer-in-chief is still on the job.
Explainer-in-chief.
I'm also
That's so
grateful
playable.
to the rest of my family and to the friends of a
That
lifetime
change maker business is terrible, too.
For all
Mao
of
was a
you
change maker.
whose hard work brought
So was
us
Hitler.
here
I know.
tonight. And to those of you who joined this campaign this week, thank you. What a remarkable week it's been.
Oh, yeah, there are no Bernie supporters left in that crowd. None. Zero. They have been escorted from the
We
building.
heard
They actually had
Yeah.
I
The
saw
man
pictures
from
of
walked
reserved
out.
seats.
Bill Clinton.
A lot of them actually walked out.
And the man of
I
hope,
saw a short video of a
Barack
lot of them
Obama.
actually F this and left.
Did you see the printed out signs where it said Bernie supporters
America
for
is
Hillary?
stronger because of President Obama's
That
leadership,
was
and
cute.
I'm better because of his friendship.
Friends.
That little hug.
They didn't start off as
From
friends,
our
that's for damn
terrific
sure.
Vice
Yeah, they
President,
still
the
ain't.
one
Remember the
and
debates?
only Joe Biden.
2012.
The one and only Joe Biden. That's
Joe Biden,
He
what are you
spoke
hiding?
from his big heart about our party's commitment to working people, as only he can do. And First Lady Michelle Obama reminded us
I think Joe Biden's going to be doing a lot of fishing soon.
that our children are watching. And the president we elect is
Kids should
going
be
to
in
be
bed now.
their president, too. And for those of you out there who are just getting to know Tim Kaine,
All four of you.
you will soon understand why the people of Virginia keep promoting him from city council and mayor to governor and now senator. And he will make our whole country proud as our vice president.
Yeah, whatever. Come on, Hill.
And I want to thank Bernie Sanders.
I'm sure he thanks you too, Hillary.
Yeah, he's sitting back like I
Yeah,
got
you
a plane out of
heard,
this.
you heard he's no longer a Democrat. He went back to being an independent.
I wonder if he keeps the plane.
Bernie,
Bernie.
your campaign
That's orchestrated. There's no Bernie
millions of
supporter.
Americans,
They're done with this.
particularly
He
the
don't
young
look happy.
people who threw
Of course he
their
don't.
hearts and souls into our primary.
He hates her. He hates her.
Yeah.
You've put economic
I don't think he
and
started out
social
He knew
Hey,
better than
justice
that, though.
issues
Come on,
front
you
I
ain't
don't
gonna go
think
up against Hillary
where they
Clinton.
belong.
This was predestined a long time
that man
ago.
looks
And to all of
angry
your
and broken.
supporters here and around the country, I want you to know,
She didn't even want to say
I've
this.
heard
Look at
you.
her.
Your cause is our cause.
give me a break.
She doesn't even.
Miss Wells Fargo talking that business.
It's a line from a Goldman Sachs
Our
speech.
country needs your
You want your
ideas,
transcript? There it is right
energy,
there.
and passion.
Pay me.
That is the only way we can turn our progressive platform
Progressive.
into real change for America.
Yep.
They don't.
Change for
They
the
look
American
pretty-
government and dollar
Oh
bills
my
too.
gosh, man. The look on their faces.
We wrote it together. Now let's go out and make it happen together.
Whose speechwriter needs to be shot?
My friends, we
Does she have any idea what she's going up
Philadelphia,
against?
the birthplace of our nation,
They're starting
because
up.
what happened in this city 240 years
You hear them
ago
screaming?
still has something to teach us today. We all know the story, but we usually focus on how it turned out and not enough on how close that story
Security went
came
and shut that down.
to never
Quick.
being written at all. When representatives
Wonder if Mace
from
is used.
13 unruly colonies met just down the road from here, some wanted to stick with the king, and some wanted to stick it to the king.
Which one would you have been, lady?
The revolution
The queen.
hung in the balance. And somehow they began listening to each other,
That ain't
compromising,
gonna happen.
finding common
What America
purpose.
do you live in, Hillary?
Yeah, that's not what
Haven't
happened.
you been on Twitter lately?
Philadelphia,
They decided to get rid
they
of the
had
king.
begun to see themselves
did.
as one nation.
Set up yet another one.
That's what made
Whether
it
they liked it or
possible to
not.
stand up to a king. That took courage. They had courage.
I don't have that
Our
kind of courage not to
founders
stand up against
embraced
Hillary Clinton.
The
I get shot.
enduring truth that we are stronger together.
I just am speechless that anybody buys this. How can anybody listen to this woman and
Now,
go, I'm in. I'm
now
ready for this.
America is once again at a moment of reckoning. Powerful forces are threatening to pull us apart.
It sounds like a speech from
Bonds
Star
of
Wars.
trust
I don't get how
and
they
really
select
does.
Trump either,
are
though.
fraying.
I don't get
And
either
just
one.
as
But
with our
she's got that
founders,
special
there are no
Not the
guarantees.
answer to evil, don't she?
Not the good
It
Star
truly
Wars either,
is
the crappy
up
ones
to
that
us.
Lucas directed.
We have to decide whether we
Is that
will
Natalie
all work together so we can all rise together.
It's all about together. Notice that? There's been a lot of together talk.
That was one of their punch
A lot of
lines.
together talk,
Our
y'all. Let's keep it
country's
together, keep it
motto
together,
She's a
keep it
damn
together.
communist.
It's one of her main
E
lines.
pluribus
Keep it
unum.
together.
Out of many, we are one. Will we stay true to that motto?
Together.
Well, we heard Donald Trump's answer last week at his convention. He wants to divide
Let me
us
tell you
from the rest
something.
of the world
I
and
am
from
terrified,
each other.
Terrified.
He's betting that the perils of
thought
today's world
of Donald
will
Trump becoming
blind us
president.
to its unlimited
I get why
promise.
people are going to vote for him.
He's taken
it ain't
the
gonna be me that
Republican
votes for him,
Party
but I
a
get
long way from morning in America to midnight in
Frighten
America.
mice.
it. Because this woman
He wants
terrifies
us
me.
to fear the future and fear each other.
She sounds
Well,
like a
you
computer,
know,
like it's
a
like
great Democratic president,
like a
Franklin
computer-generated
Delano
voice.
Roosevelt,
Here's the thing.
came up with the
And I'm
perfect
like I'm playing a video
tribute
game or
to
something,
Trump.
you know?
She was reading
More
the
than
teleprompter,
80
just
years
like
ago,
I
during
mean,
a
it
much
is the
more
stiffest
time.
delivery.
The
It is
only
very
thing we
possible,
have to
very
fear
possible
is
that
fear
Donald Trump
itself.
will kill thousands of people, okay? She already has done that.
Oh, thousands.
That's already been
covered.
that's been
Yeah.
accomplished. It's
Yeah.
been
We
checked
are
off her list a
clear-eyed
few
Easily.
times.
About what our
Like,
country
she's
is up
capable
against.
of it. She's already done
But
it.
we are not
And smiled
afraid.
for the cameras when she did it.
We will rise to the challenge, just as we always have. We will not build a wall. Instead, we will build an economy where everyone who wants a good job can get one.
In the gulag.
Yeah,
As long as you want to work for the federal government.
that's right.
And we'll build a path to citizenship for millions of immigrants who are already contributing.
The difference
to our
in Hillary's
What?
gulag and Trump's gulag is Trump's gulag will be finished on time and done for a much cheaper
We
price.
will not ban a religion. We will work with all Americans and our allies to fight and defeat terrorism.
Together. We can only do it together.
Yet
Keep it
we
together,
know
keep it
there
together,
is a
keep it
lot
together.
to do. Too many people haven't had a pay raise since the crash. There's too much inequality, too little social mobility,
Together.
too much paralysis in Washington.
Apart.
Too many
Together.
threats at home and
New York,
abroad.
and just
Apart,
show
apart.
up
But
with an
just
RKO
look
right
for
now.
a minute
Apart
at the
together.
strengths we bring as Americans to meet these challenges.
Meet together.
We have the most dynamic and diverse people in the world. We have the most tolerant and generous young people we've ever had.
Are you kidding me?
Where did she get that from?
We have the most powerful military,
Certainly not from Twitter.
the most innovative entrepreneurs, the most
People,
enduring
PPL.
values, freedom and equality, justice and opportunity. We should be so proud that those words are associated with us.
Hillary.
I think Bernie started it, man.
Vote Bernie.
They started with Bernie and they had to outdo it.
Build a wall. Build a wall. Build
I have
a
to tell
wall.
you, as your Secretary of State,
It's
I
all the
went
same,
to
really.
112
Think about it.
countries.
It is.
When people hear those
Them
words,
Bernie people ain't
they
quitting, are they?
hear
They're going to make those people
America.
chant all night.
There's something going on there.
Don't let anyone
Yeah,
tell
there's
you
struggle
our
in the
country
crowd.
is weak.
Like
We're
people are
not.
like, God, I gotta
Don't
cheer
let
for
anyone
her.
tell you we don't have what
You
it
can't
takes.
tell him
Conscience is
either.
telling me
We
not
do.
to, but Hillary,
And most of
Hillary.
all, don't believe anyone who says, I alone can fix it.
Bernie couldn't do it.
Yes? Those were actually Donald Trump's words in Cleveland. And they should set off alarm bells for all of us.
Fear.
Really?
Together.
I alone can fix it? Isn't he forgetting troops on the front lines, police officers and firefighters who run
Now wait a
toward
minute.
danger?
The story I heard last
doctors
night,
and
Hillary could like
nurses who
fly out of the
care for
sky
us,
and like
teachers who
rebuild
change
hospitals with her mind.
lives,
Oh, yeah.
So I mean,
entrepreneurs who see possibilities in every problem.
I think Hillary could do it by herself. She's got the
Mothers who
powers.
lost
What they
children
say.
to
Yeah.
violence
Defies gravity.
and
Do
are
her deeds.
building a movement
Can move
to
mountains
keep
with a
other
mere
kids
glance.
safe. He's forgetting.
Man, you guys should see
Every
some of
last
the.
one
Look
of
at
us.
this.
Americans don't
Are
say
y'all twittering
I
over there?
alone
You're twittering.
can fix it. We
what the
say
faces of
we'll
children look like when they
fix it
Twitter.
together.
Liar.
That's great.
That's awesome.
That's not on this dude. What a shot.
And
It's out there.
remember,
Yeah, it's out there in the
remember,
audio.
No, I know
our
what I'm saying. They
founders
wouldn't
fought
show
a
it.
revolution and wrote a constitution.
If it was the Republican
so
convention, though, they
America
would.
would never be a nation
It'd be
where
funny.
one person had all the power.
So So why did that turn into what we have now? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Years later,
and she's been there every single step of the way.
Still put our faith in
Every
each
step
other.
of the way. The amendments
Look
that
at what
have eroded.
happened in Dallas
The troops that have died.
after the assassinations of 5 brave
The refugee
police
crises
officers.
we have right now.
Police Chief David Brown
Listen to it. That's her.
asked the community
She
to
was
support
there every
his
single step of the
force.
way for
Maybe
years
even
and
join
years
them.
and years. As the first lady
You know
who
how
was
the
very
community
actively
responded?
involved in her
Nearly
president's
500
cabinet
people applied in
as
just
a United States
12
senator,
days.
as secretary of the freaking state. Come on, man. All of that chaos has been called by
Americans
this
answer
called
when the
for by this
call
voice
for
that you're
help
listening to
goes
right
out.
now.
20 years ago, I wrote a book called It Takes a Village.
God.
And
Do we have to do this
a lot
anymore?
of people
Hold on.
looked at the title and asked, what the heck do you mean by that? This is what I mean.
Oh,
None
finally,
of us
guys.
can raise a family, build a business, heal a community, or lift a country totally alone. America needs
We'll start
every
in
one of
Detroit.
us to lend our energy, our talents, our ambition to making our nation better and stronger. I believe that with all my heart. That's why
insane.
Stronger Together
What heart?
is not just a lesson from our history. It's not just a slogan for our campaign. It's a guiding principle for the country we've always been and the future we're going to build. A country where the economy works for everyone, not just those at the top.
Like the people that have donated heavily to your campaign.
I think Robert, they
Where
just
you
showed
can
Robert
get a
Cage.
good job and send
I couldn't
your
tell.
kids to a
I
good
think it was him,
school,
though.
no matter what zip code you live in. A country where all our
Tell
children
that to
can
the people in
dream and
Detroit.
those dreams are within reach. Where families are strong,
You know he's
communities are
supporting her,
safe,
right?
and yes, where love trumps hate.
Trump's hate.
She still
I see
couldn't.
what you did there.
She still had to use his name.
Yeah.
That's free
That's it.
promotion, man. Are they going to start chanting Trump now?
Build a wall. Build a wall. Wow, that's weird, man. There's some weird stuff going on
If
there.
they're chanting love Trump's hate, like he's got to be thinking, that's
the
amazing.
future
That really
does. Chanting my
we're
name,
working toward.
He's turning
And
the
so,
volume
my
up.
friends,
Yeah, get in
it is
here.
with
Yeah.
humility, determination, and boundless confidence in America's promise that I accept your nomination.
Of course
you
look
do.
at that snub. She has waited her whole life to say those words. Look at that just snug grin. Oh, and Katy Perry's there. Let's make sure to get it. Take a
The
hold.
former Mrs. Russell Brand. That's probably what led to their split.
She has waited her whole life to say
I
those.
can't see the screen. Is there confetti? Please tell me there's confetti.
There's not, but she
Oh my
realized
gosh. That is the perfect opportunity
in
for
the middle
confetti.
of it. She started like, okay, this is part of my speech, and then she realized what she was saying. I had waited for
Now,
and then she got into
sometimes-
it.
Yeah.
Sometimes the people at this podium are new to the national stage. As you know,
You are
I'm
clearly
not one of those people.
No, you're not. A career welfare whore,
I've
one of the most
been your
prolific in
first
American
lady.
history.
Served 8 years as a senator
Served.
from the great state of New York. Then I represented all of you as Secretary of State.
Yeah, you did. And what a fine job you did.
Hooray.
But my
The
job
blood
titles
flowed in the
only tell
streets.
you
Honduras.
what I've done.
Radio.
Oh, man.
They don't tell you why. The truth is, through all these years of public service,
Public
the service part has always come easier to me than the public part.
You like giving people the
I
service,
get it.
don't you?
Yeah.
That some people just don't know what
Everybody
to
but
make
Bill.
of me.
Yeah. Bill don't get no service.
So
Hadn't in
Let
years.
me tell you,
I'm screwing everybody else over there.
family
That's
I'm from,
Bill gets his.
well, no one had their
Whether he,
name on
whether
big
he takes
buildings. My family were builders of a different kind. Builders in the way most American families are. They used whatever tools they had, whatever God gave them, and whatever life in America provided, and built better lives and better futures for their kids. My grandfather worked in the same Scranton lace mill for 50 years
that's great.
because he believed
Now we
that
have
if he
children
gave
in China
everything
doing
he
it
had,
for 3
his
cents
Are we
an
children
hour.
going to just applaud
would have
anybody
a
that's ever
better
had a
life
job before?
than he did.
So that's
And
what
he
that
was right.
Yeah.
My dad, Hugh, made it to college. He played football at Penn State.
You could still do that when
and
you were poor
enlisted
back
in
then.
the Navy
Of
after
course, some
Pearl
folks not
Harbor.
poor. She come from money.
When the
That's
war
why
was over,
Rodham was still on
he
her
started
name
his
there
own
for a
small
while
business printing
until she ran for
fabric
president.
for draperies. I remember watching him stand for hours over silk screens. He wanted to give my brothers and me opportunities he never had, and he did. My mother,
Whether we liked
Dorothy,
it or
was
not.
abandoned by her parents as a young girl. She
She
ended up on her own at 14 working as a housemaid. She was saved by the kindness of others. Her first grade
Takes a village.
teacher saw she had nothing to eat at
Together.
lunch and brought extra food to share the entire year. The lesson she passed on to me
Oh, that's
years later stuck with me.
If you can be
No one
president, you
gets
can just
through
take
life
all the money
alone.
that you need
Or
We
all
have
the
to
food.
look out for
Yeah.
each other
or the food.
And you
and
can give it
lift
to
each
whoever
other
you
up.
want to, or don't want
And
to.
she made sure I learned the words from our Methodist faith.
Hungry people do
Do all the
anything for a
good you
sandwich.
can
Anything.
for all the people you can in all the ways you can as long as ever you can.
Yay! Where's my
So
free
I
shit?
went to work for the Children's Defense Fund, going door to door in New
the
Bedford,
children.
Massachusetts,
Door to door.
on
Teleportation.
behalf of children with disabilities who were denied the chance to go to school. I remember meeting a young girl in a wheelchair on the small back porch of her house. She told me how badly she wanted to go to school. It just didn't seem possible in those days. And I couldn't stop thinking of my mother and what she'd gone through as a child.
Oh man, it was
It
rough.
became
Her
clear to
speechwriter
me
needs to be shot. Have
that
I mentioned
simply
that already?
caring is
It's
not
her.
enough.
She can't. It doesn't matter. Just
To
great speech
drive
ever.
real progress,
It's not
you
her.
have to
I mean, it's really
change
not.
Her.
both hearts and laws. You need both understanding and
Bill,
action.
Barack.
So we gathered facts. We built a coalition.
Bill's got the
and our
thing with
work
the
helped
thumb.
convince Congress to ensure access to education for all students
Bill could
with
be giving you like
disabilities.
instructions on
It's a
how to
big
work on a
idea,
transmission
isn't it?
and give you
Every
the
kid
thumb, and
with
it
a
seems like the
disability
smartest thing you've
has
ever
the
heard.
right to go to school.
I think idiot Sarah Palin could do a better job at delivering this speech.
But how? How
My
do you
baby.
make an idea like that real?
I love
You do
Sarah
it
Palin
step by
so much.
step, year
She's a
by
train
year,
wreck.
sometimes
No.
even door by door.
She's a fool.
My heart
She's that hot
just
mom
swelled
that lives on
when
the
I
block.
saw
She usually has like a steady
Anastasia
supply of
Somoza
Xanax.
representing
Yeah. She made- I
millions
don't
of
know
young
her.
She
people
always keeps
on
a
this
bottle of rum
stage.
around, you know, just in case.
Oh my! But
you normally
it
drink
makes me
white
so
wine.
mad when they do
Because
that. When they
we
show somebody
changed our
that's
law to make
got a
sure
disability,
she
they
got
show
an
them.
education.
Oh, it makes me so mad.
Oh, yeah.
So it's true. I sweat the details of policy,
Sweat
whether
the
we're
details.
talking about the exact
Down to
level
the last
of lead
packet
in
of
the
hot
drinking
sauce.
water in Flint, Michigan, the number of mental health facilities in Iowa,
All right,
or
tell
the
us, how
cost
many?
of your prescription drugs.
How many?
Because
She's
it's
counting.
not just
She's counting
a
all.
detail
I was thinking
if it's
she
your
needs
to
child,
be in a
mental
if
health
it's your
facility
family,
in
it's a big
Iowa.
deal.
She emailed
and
somebody
it should
about
be
it
a
earlier.
big deal to
Oh, I'm
your
sure.
president, too.
She knows. Just don't ask her about it.
Man, we're so screwed. It's this with the Trump.
Yeah, if I pressed her for details,
That's
she'd
the
look at me.
alternative to this.
She'd look at me and say, "Oh,
After
you're a
the
Trump
4
supporter. That's why
days
you
of
asked
this
me that."
Convention,
Ugh.
you've seen some of the people who've inspired me. People who let me
Adolf Hitler.
into their
Mussolini.
lives and became a part of mine. People like Ryan Moore and Lauren Manning.
Oh, yeah.
They told their stories
Vince
Tuesday
Foster.
night.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I
first
say
met
that out
Ryan
loud?
as a 7-year-old.
I'm sure these
He was
people are
wearing a
amazing.
full
She's never
body
met them.
brace that
She could
must have
care
weighed
less.
40 pounds
It was a
because
story they
I
gave her to
leaned
read.
over
Yeah,
to
she
lift
read
him
a
up.
paragraph about him before she
Children
walked out on
like
stage.
Ryan
Oh, that's
kept
nice.
me going
No,
when our
she
plan
didn't
for
say that.
universal
She just
health
goes,
care
okay.
failed,
Yeah.
and kept me working
Who's
with
this?
leaders of
Pronounce
both
his last
parties
name for me.
to
Yeah.
help create the Children's Health Insurance Program that covers 8 million kids.
Woo! Save the children. 8 million voters. All for you.
Lauren Manning, who stood here with such grace and
From now
power,
until the
was
day they died,
gravely
then
injured on
some.
9/11.
I wonder if she's kin to
It
Chelsea
was the
Manning.
thought of her and Debbie St. John, who
You
you
hear
saw
them
in the
they
movie,
charged
and
Chelsea
John
Manning
Dolan
again?
and Joe Sweeney,
trying to
and
commit
all the
suicide?
victims and survivors.
Wow. You
It
get
kept
charged
me
for that?
working as hard as I could in
That's
the
a charge. You
Senate
can
on
get charged
behalf
for
of
trying to commit
9/11
suicide? Really?
families and our
Government property.
first responders who got sick from their time at Ground Zero.
What is that, like
I was
destruction of
thinking
government property?
Uh,
Did
Of
you
she's
just
Lauren,
mentioned- hey, she's
Debbie,
mentioning
and all the
9/11 now.
others 10 years later.
Yeah, she'd do
in the
best
White
to like
House
completely
Situation
skip
Room.
over that whole
When
subject.
President
No,
Obama made the
Ground Zero.
courageous
She mentioned the Ground
decision
Zero.
that finally brought Osama bin Laden to
Oh,
justice.
yeah. That Bin Laden.
That old chestnut.
And in this
Checking the
campaign,
boxes,
I've met
checking the
many more
boxes.
people who motivate me to keep fighting for change. And with your help, I will carry all of your voices and stories with me to the White House.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to. They still got some. Well, there's some empty spots, but there's still some
And
dirty people.
you heard some
There's like,
from
what,
Republicans
5?
and independents who are supporting our campaign. Well, I will be a president for Democrats, Republicans, independents, for the struggling, the striving, the successful.
Yeah, 'cause we won't
for
really
all
have much of a
those who
choice
vote
now, will
for
we?
me and for those who don't. For all Americans together.
She got her slogan, tonight's slogan in there. Tonight's word is, it's like Pee-wee's Playhouse. Tonight's word is together.
Yeah.
Together, not as change maker.
Tonight,
I would be shocked if she
Tonight,
doesn't
we've reached a
unroll some
milestone
T-shirts
in our
that just
nation's march
simply say
toward a
together
more
with an
perfect
exclamation
union.
point. Like Jeb.
the
Well,
first
they don't-
time that
they
a
do, they
major
have-
party has nominated
Right, there's signs
a woman
to just say
for
together.
president.
Like they're promoting the Spice Girls single.
Wow, together. Featuring Hillary Clinton.
Like the big delegate signs, it just says together. I mean, what's that supposed to even imply?
Standing
Together
here,
what?
Standing here as my mother's
You're going to
daughter
stand there
and my
together while I
daughter's
take your
mother.
country over?
I'm so happy this day has come. I'm happy
Standing
for
there is
grandmothers
Bill's wife.
and little girls and everyone in between. I'm happy for
Between.
boys and men because when any barrier
Bill.
falls in America, it clears the way
Bill's face,
for
man.
everyone.
You check
She has waited. She's on. That's been her line. You can see it. She paused for it.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
This is the one I always said I was
Wait
going
for
to say.
it. Wait for it.
When there are no ceilings, the sky's the limit.
That sounds like a 10-year-old wrote that.
Yeah.
When there are no ceilings, the sky's the limit, Rainbow Bright.
Mrs.
So
Clinton,
let's
could
keep
you please say
going.
this at the
Let's keep
speech
going
tonight?
until every one
She-
of the
a 10-year-old probably did write
161
that.
million
She
women
rubbed
and
his little
girls
red
across America
freckled
has
head.
the opportunity she deserves
See?
to have.
That was probably the child.
But
Oh, they showed a little girl. They showed a little girl.
Of course it did.
then the history we make tonight is
Camera
the
two,
history
little girl.
we will write together in the years ahead. Let's begin with what we're going to do to help working
That was
people
way
in
too
our
funny.
country get ahead and stay ahead.
To not really be
Now,
funny,
I
to
don't
be
think
honest.
President Obama and Vice President Biden get the credit they deserve for saving
What did
us
Joe
from
Biden
the
do?
worst
Name
economic
one thing that he
crisis of
did.
our
I don't know.
lifetimes.
He
Go-
sniffed some women. I
Go-
saw some pictures.
Hit on some people's wives.
Yeah. He lost his son.
economy
That was sad.
is so much stronger than when they took office. Nearly
Well, there are a lot
15
of pretty
million.
little son like you in here.
I think his son was
20
kind of
million
scummy,
more
but I could be
Americans
wrong.
with health insurance.
I didn't know.
And an auto industry that just had its best year ever.
Not in Detroit, they didn't.
That is incorrect.
Now, that's real progress.
I think
but
she was talking
none of
about
us
used
can be
cars.
satisfied with the
They
status
do that with
quo.
jobs.
Not by a
Uh-oh.
long
What's
Used
going
shot.
on?
jobs.
Everybody's looking
We're
up in the
still
corner.
facing deep-seated problems
Furman
that
Supreme must be
developed
there.
long before
Something
the
going on.
recession and have
Pony
stayed
power.
with us
Pony
through the
power.
recovery. I've gone around the country
getting hot.
talking to working families, and I've
there a boot?
heard
Do you
from
see a
many who
boot?
feel like the economy sure isn't
Oh,
working for
they're
them.
straight and narrow.
Some of you are
Yeah.
frustrated,
Yeah.
even furious. And you know what? You're right.
They've
Yeah,
cut
but
all
It's
the
not
microphones
yet
off of
working
that
the way
section.
it
Yeah.
should. Americans are
Still
willing
can
to
hear.
work and work hard.
Mm.
But right now, an awful lot of people feel there is less and less
Yeah,
respect
there's some,
for the work
I hear
they
something
do.
going on.
And less respect for them,
I'm
period.
going to get to the bottom of this.
Democrats, we are the party of working people.
In her mind, yeah, you people work for me.
We haven't done
Yeah.
a good enough job showing we get what you're going through, and we're going to do something to help. So tonight I want to tell you how we will empower Americans to live better lives. My primary mission as president will be to create more opportunity and more good jobs with rising wages right here in the United States. From my first day in office to my last, especially in places that for too long have been left out and left behind, from our inner cities to our small towns, from Indian country to coal country, from communities ravaged by addiction
Writing speeches
to
like
regions
this
hollowed out by
are just like writing a
plant
story.
closures.
You know,
And here's what I believe.
it's like writing poetry almost, because
I believe
it's just
America
make sure you get
thrives
this
when the
part,
middle
get this
class
part, get this
thrives.
section.
Oh,
Oh,
this
mention
I
is
this,
believe
amazing.
our
mention that.
economy isn't working the way
I love
it
to see the
should
spider web of
because
the
our
idea clouds that they made in
democracy
the
isn't
speech.
working the way
Carefully
it
threw them all in
should.
there.
That's all they, you know.
So what's going on
This
over in
is-
the corner? Have we
this is-
deduced that yet?
No, I'm
That's
trying to
why
find out. but
we
I think-
need to appoint Supreme
It's like
Court
speech by
justices
numbers,
who will get
kinda.
money
Yeah.
out of politics and expand voting rights, not
That's what I'm saying. Her
restrict them.
speechwriter needs to be shot.
But
This
like
is-
literally, they're talking about expanding voting rights. Who can't vote?
If necessary,
Uh,
we
I think
will
there's a bunch of
pass
people in,
constitutional
Arizona that
amendment
couldn't
to
vote.
Here's the thing:
overturn
nobody can vote.
Citizens
That's
United.
it.
Yeah.
Like she's talking about voting rights. Go ask, like, what's it matter if you can vote? You literally just stole an election, woman.
I guess they're going to lower the voting
I
age
believe
to
She stole an
12.
election from
American
Bernie.
corporations that have
Stole,
gotten
straight
so
up.
much from our
Straight
country
up. Yeah.
should be just as patriotic in return. Many of them are, but too many aren't. It's wrong to take tax breaks with one hand
Yes, it
and give
is.
out pink slips with the other.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't you remember who donated to your campaign,
And
homie?
I believe Wall Street can never,
Oh,
ever be allowed to
oh.
wreck Main Street again.
What? How did she even stretch her mouth into that
You work
lie?
for them. You're in Wells Fargo Center.
And I believe in science.
Wow, what a
Hit me with
statement.
science.
Professor Nye.
Thomas Dolby over here.
What about the
She
science?
blinded
Believe
me
climate
with
change
science.
is real,
Okay, she believes in science. I got a
and that
question.
we
Them
can
buildings
save
came
our
down a
planet
little
while creating
fast.
millions
What
of
do you know about
good-paying
jet fuel?
clean energy jobs. I believe that when we have millions of hardworking immigrants contributing to our economy, it would be self-defeating and inhumane to try to kick them out.
Wow. I mean, does anybody know what she does for a living
my
and has
God.
done for a living for quite some time now?
Immigration reform
They just did it.
will grow our economy and
Young
keep
Muslim man.
families together,
Game of Thrones.
and it's the right thing to do.
Nodding his head in approval, I'm sure.
yeah. That is what was happening.
So, whatever party
Old
you
white guy
belong
glasses.
to, or
Yeah.
if you belong to no party at all, if you share these beliefs,
Next will be an African-American
this is
woman.
your campaign.
Am I right?
Hello. Wait for it.
Wait.
If you believe that companies should share profits, not pad executive bonuses, join us.
Together. Join us. Join the dark side.
The minimum
She's
wage
talking
should be a
about going
living
against the
wage,
banks
and
in
no
Wells
one
Fargo
working
Center.
full time should have to raise their children in poverty. Join us.
Together.
Yep, there's young black woman.
I knew it. Pay me.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's over.
No, it's not. They're trying to, I think. Didn't do that the other night, did it? I tell you what, since we lost the feed here, let's just go ahead and take a break for the evening. We will be back here in a few. Anti-Media Radio.
getting fast to the escape. Civilian, we're there. It's long range. I'll come here on Drive City. Keep them warm, all around. Please don't dance. How we along? What kind of shit, what kind of vibe? Check me out down and down, you know. Don't call me back. Don't call me back, girl. Don't call me back.
Welcome to Hour 2 of Anti-Media Radio. I am SM Gibson. In the studio, we are joined by Shannon and Kevin. Back for Hour 2. Okay, we had our fun little comedy time there with Hillary. Listen to that garbage. But it was kind of, fun to make fun of.
Nah.
But,
Oh, it's kind of like, I don't know. She's an easy target. You would think.
Yeah, for a Trump supporter.
Well played, Mr. Kevin. Well played.
That right there. That is such a thing that people need to realize.
Well, now, I caught a meme today. I think it was a retweet or a screenshot of a tweet. Somebody that had made the comments, oh gosh, I need to pull this up. Because it actually kind of, what it alluded to was the fact that, hang on, I'm trying to find it, that a vote for a third-party candidate, or no vote at all, suggests that you are not interested in trying to keep Trump out of office. It was actually posted up by a Hillary supporter. I've got a couple of them on my page, on my face wall. Why can't I find this?
The thing to me, though, that's so insane.
God, I hate Facebook so much.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's the worst.
It's necessary.
But it's how everybody's just had this knee-jerk reaction of, like, you say something bad about Hillary. Oh, yeah, Trump supporter.
This is a tweet.
It's like, it's possible that out of the almost 7 billion, whatever it is, people on this planet, that 2 of them, I don't like either one of them.
Right.
Did you know that that's possible? For me not to like 2 people?
This is a tweet from Terrence Newman at Mayor of Echo Park on Twitter. Imagine being so white that voting for a third party just to, quote-unquote, prove a point
what does that mean?
Is a risk
honestly,
you can afford to take.
Like, honestly, what does that mean?
Basically, what that's telling me is that, apparently only white folks are going to vote for a third party because, they don't understand what
Democrats
an important
ever done?
Decision it is to keep Trump out of the
what
office.
What has Hillary Clinton ever done for anyone? Anyone. I don't care what color their skin was.
Hot sauce.
I don't care what color their skin was. What has she done for anyone ever?
She carries hot sauce with her
That's
everywhere she goes. Everywhere she goes. There's hot sauce in her purse.
Oh, yeah. She's always been like that.
She never named the brand.
She's just always throwing that out like there. That. And then when the girl asked her said something about pandering, she goes, "Yeah, is it working?"
Yeah.
It's like you just wanted to slap her. Yeah. That woman's just...
I got way better reasons to want to slap Hillary Clinton than hot sauce.
Oh, that's the truth. Because she, we can just go down the list of the death.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get how people get behind her.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. That don't mean Trump should be president.
No. No.
It certainly is not an endorsement of him.
No.
In any way, shape, or form.
I wouldn't.
But I don't get how anybody ever could go, yep, her. I think she can do it. I think she is going to steer us in the right direction. I mean, she is going to it's going to be a Bush foreign policy on steroids. On steroids. People are going to look at the Bushes like, man, those Give them the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Peace candidates of the day there.
She's talking about going and blowing up Iran for who knows what reason.
Because, freedom.
Like, she'll just plow through Syria. Like,
Yeah,
we don't finish that
Assad
up.
will definitely be gone.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
sir.
we will be in full-blown war with Russia.
Oh, sure. No question. And she wants to bomb Iran? She's just going to finish the job for him, isn't she?
Yeah.
That's World War III.
Yeah.
That is World War III, especially the way NATO's poking at Russia right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we'll get with Hillary Clinton.
And guess what,
we'll
folks?
get.
That's what voting has gotten us to this point
But
right
in
now.
everybody's defense, it didn't matter anyway. It didn't matter anyway. They realized it way too late.
You don't
way
think-
too late.
You don't
Because-
think the American public didn't vote themselves into the situation we currently have now with the United
No, I
States
don't-
government being
maybe.
as big and bulbous as it is? Yeah, of course
Yeah.
they did.
It's hard to say if they did because look, like honestly, when do you like legitimately think was like a real federal president election? Now I know you can make the case that Obama and McCain was real because that was real because there was no need to rig or fix anything because you were coming off of 8 years of the warmonger.
Yeah, you thought
McCain.
G-Dub was bad.
Right.
John
So-
McCain for
Yeah,
president. That
so
would've
they
been
didn't
awful.
have to rig anything there. No, they did with Hillary and him on different levels with each other in the primaries. They had a nasty fight in the primaries.
Mm-hmm. It was.
But McCain was, it was a walk in the park to win that. And then you had Sarah Palin out there, and they started spinning the line about, she said she saw Russia. She said she saw Russia or whatever. And just made her look like a cartoon character, which she kind of helped herself with.
I wish I would quit talking about Sarah Palin. That's my baby.
But, you don't have to rig that election at all.
No, you really
Not
don't.
much to do. Just let it play out.
This one, though, this one's been weird. First off, we had candidates on both sides
He's got
of the
too
aisle.
many people behind him, man. And it's money people that hate her, too. That's what I've been trying to tell everybody for months and months and months. Rich, rich, rich people that run things, that have real legit power, hate her guts.
We'll see.
And Trump will play ball with these people. Because, look,
Trump's going to play ball no matter what.
He'll sell people down the river so fast and ignore everything he ever said to anybody if he has to.
And he is also favorable to bombing Iran as well.
But he'll cut whatever deal he's got to do, whatever in his best interest.
Mm-hmm. What's ever going to make him look great.
Certainly.
Ego.
But, look, what do you do?
I'm staying home, man.
Well,
Y'all have fun with all that.
But I think there's too many people. Like, she really doesn't have real support. Like, it's non-existent. It's Twitter bots and some people they hired to sit in this arena.
Yeah. Well, there's
And the people that she pays.
obviously
that's made
there's
money
a few
off
people
of
there
it.
that are not there for Hillary. There's still a little
Right.
bit of grumble
There's more
in the
Bernie
background
people.
there.
There are more Bernie people at this convention than there are Hillary people.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the nominee.
I can't believe they're still
There's
there.
been more Bernie people, maybe not at the beginning. I don't know, though, because Iowa was with that 6 coin toss business that was clearly bogus.
Mm.
So maybe he's beating her like in every single state. He probably didn't in the South. He probably didn't beat her here.
Well, yeah.
Because there were so many of them
I don't know.
that were
I mean,
so close.
I don't know. There was, especially
It
here in
started
the
getting
area,
questionable.
which here in the area that we live in is pretty much a little pocket of Democrats, surrounded in a sea of red, because it is red as far as the eye can see, 2 counties over to the south. Yeah. Everybody around here was all about the Bernie. It was all about the
Because
burn,
she
man.
don't have, yeah.
Feeling the burn.
I haven't seen any Hillary sticker yet.
No.
Not once. I can't go anywhere without
Well,
something with
you got a
Bernie
certain
on.
pockets over in Crestwood where,
Still, no.
Literally pockets like this big.
like a block, yeah.
But I have seen, you can't go anywhere and not see at least something with Bernie on it.
Yeah.
I see more Bernie stuff than I do Trump stuff.
Yeah, I agree there.
It's like Ron Paul. You saw his stuff everywhere.
I see a lot of Trump stuff, Ron. We do live in Alabama. Come on, man.
Well, a lot of the Bernie revolution's taking place online too, just like a lot of the Ron Paul.
True.
You know, so that's plays into a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
But Bernie, do you not think that as much as I disagree with a lot of Bernie's politics, like he's kind of like embodied like a real revolution and like he's a martyr for something, because you can look at the look on his face like that wasn't his decision.
No, it was not.
That was not a man. I don't think Bernie sold
him.
It doesn't appear like Bernie actually really sold out.
He knew
it appears like Bernie literally got a gun put.
He
to his
knew
head.
it was coming, particularly later on
He
in the
looks
debates.
broken.
And when he was pressed on the issue, he did exactly as he said he was going to do. Go ahead and bow down and defer to Hillary Clinton and
Get
try
that
to bring
plane, baby. Get that plane.
Bring all them Bernie supporters over to Hillary.
You know who's not broken? All those crazy supporters.
Yeah.
They're looking to break some stuff.
Yeah. What are they going to break though? Which way are they going to lean at the polls? And that's really
They're not going to vote for her.
Yeah,
they're not going to vote for her.
I mean, you'll have a few as
hatred.
Yeah,
people hate her,
and they're going to be kind of biting their tongue when they do it, because they're going to be honestly, but thinking that they're going to be not necessarily voting for Hillary, but voting against Trump.
That's it. That's the only.
You're going to you're going to have.
That's
some
all
of that.
she'll get. She'll get that he's not Trump. She's not Trump.
But then again, you're also. I think we're going to see a really strong showing for third party candidates.
For whatever that.
Well, I mean, stronger than we've seen.
She will definitely get the not Trump vote. But I don't believe that there's just en masse real Hillary Clinton supporters.
Kevin,
I do think there's a lot of I hate Trump votes.
Kevin, you're our resident libertarian expert. How well do you see Gary Johnson showing in all this?
Doing much better than what the 1% he's had previously. Probably definitely a lot more than what we've seen so far. He's looking at 13% in some of the polls. Taking a lot. Supposedly he's taking more from Hillary supporters than he is from Trump supporters. So yeah, definitely not near enough to actually win the presidency, of course, but definitely hopefully enough to get the libertarians in the debates next go around. So we'll see. But, yeah, I think Trump's going to pull it off.
Well, see, you heard they announced the debate schedules for Hillary and Trump.
Oh, did they?
There's going to be 3 of them. There's going to be 1 vice presidential one, and there's going to be 3 between him and her.
When does that start? Do we know?
The end of September. It's going to be the end of September.
It's really like that scene in Game of Thrones where they drag old Cersei Lannister down the street.
Like they can put it on
shame's going to be naked.
Like they can put
tomatoes thrown at her and spit on.
They should put this thing in like Jerry Jones' dome.
Needs to be in a steel cage.
Needs to be equally of the scenery needs to be
right.
It's equally spectacular.
Like, so can they build like a perfect identical model of the Roman Colosseum in Washington, D.C.?
Have some lions on chains on either side.
So this can happen like it should?
Yeah. One of them gets a sword and shield, and the other
gets definitely need to be in robes.
Yeah.
That would make it way better if they were. But the wardrobe's going to be irrelevant for this storyline. It's going to be glorious either way.
Hillary will have more expensive clothing on than Donald Trump will.
It's the only thing with Donald Trump the only part of him that I look forward to. It's like this horrible man that will make fun of handicapped people is going to be able to destroy that woman. Yeah. He makes fun of handicapped people. He's terrible.
Yeah.
But he'll say all that stuff to her. And with her, it's all true.
Mm-hmm. And she'll shrug and say so.
Donald Trump, it still blows my mind that Donald Trump was like, hey, there's a picture on the internet, Ted Cruz, of your dad and Lee Harvey Oswald. What's up with that?
And then poof, Ted Cruz
was gone. And Ted Cruz was ironically gone out of the race within 24 hours. That could be completely coincidental, but that sure was ironic.
I didn't talk about your dad. Yeah.
Right. And did you see the DNC emails that were kind of like, that could be something to that?
Well,
that's
off the table now. So,
I think there's a lot. Yeah, it's a whole different conversation.
Now we don't have to talk about that no more. Ted Cruz is gone.
He is.
That's
a fun story, though. It's a fun story to follow. Now, whether it's true or not, you don't know. But it's a fun story to follow.
It's a fun story to follow, and Ted Cruz dropped out within 24 hours.
It's true.
It is true.
But anyway, Donald Trump's going to be able to take all that crazy and get up there in front of her crazy. And her crazy, I think, is just going to melt down. I hope we see it. That'll be a joyous
God, if she would just pick something up and throw it.
Starts cackling, and you just can tell she's about to snap. And
veins start popping out her forehead.
And she pulls one of those what difference does it make moments where she screams. Like, I want to see backstage Hillary.
Bill knows what that looks like.
Oh, yeah. Bill knows.
Bill knows backstage Hillary.
I want to see him get under her skin enough where backstage Hillary comes out.
Yeah.
Because he is just going to be like, oh, you fell for it. You fell for it.
I would give $500 for somebody.
And then he'll be president, will be dead, or be put in his concentration camp or whatever. Who knows what he does with his law and order. But other way, at least if we get a good show out of it.
I'd give $500 for audio of Hillary saying the C word. I really would.
Musical Hamilton goes, let us gladly join the fight. Let our legacy be about planting seeds in a garden you never get to see.
Still alive.
That's why we're here. Forever. Not just in this hall, but on this earth. The founders showed us
stem of Cat Williams tonight. There's no way she's waited her whole life for this moment.
This is her whole life.
She could go on for another 4 hours and she'd still be up there.
She's going.
She'd gladly do it.
Oh yeah, I bet she would.
That is the story of America. And we begin a new chapter tonight.
She's going to absorb every second of it.
Yes, the world is watching what we do.
Pure adrenaline. She's on pure adrenaline right now.
Is ours to choose.
And still reads the teleprompter.
Let's be stronger together,
like she's got to go over
it. I bet she knows most of it.
Let's look to the future with courage and confidence. Let's build a better tomorrow for our beloved children.
I hope somebody gets a transcript of this speech. Those are hard to come by from Hillary these days.
America will be greater than ever. Thank you, and may God bless you and the United States.
May God bless you, Hillary Rodham.
Oh, man, she has got this look on her face like, I did it. I told him I was going to do it, and I did it.
Kill it. Kill the audio. Kill the Katy Perry in my ear. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't want no part of that.
Woman that said, I told you. I told everybody. I told you I'd kill whoever I had to kill. I would do whatever I had to do, but I was going to get here.
That's the only reason that Katy Perry was there, so she could hear that song being played at the end of that speech.
Oh, yeah. But she's not, this still ain't her end goal, though, so she's not celebrating too much yet, I don't think. I think she's pulling a Saban with this one. We're going to the end, but what's going to be funny is when they lose.
Emerging from that first debate, bloodied and bruised.
There's going to be that kickoff with 1 second left, and old crazy from New York's going to sneak in the end zone.
Yeah.
And she is going to be devastated. Did you hear that? I heard somebody say earlier today that New Yorkers are too smart for Donald Trump, so he took a show on the road to the sticks, and they're eating it up.
That's a pretty good analogy.
It really is. Yeah. I thought it was a good way to sum things up.
And they are indeed eating it up.
They are.
Oh yeah, the red states have gotten a lot redder these days.
They're showing the audience right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see.
Is anybody holding a pitchfork?
Nah, it looks like pretty full. They're all holding up signs.
Yeah.
They're definitely showing specific parts, but it could still be full.
Well, good for them. I hope it works out for them.
Yeah. I'm just more interested in the Bernie, what they're doing. Like, they're out there, like, getting arrested and stuff tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And look, that's the time they're not being violent. How can you not support what they're doing? Like, he literally got screwed out of the... Like, they should be protesting. They should be out there. They should be furious. They should have gone up there and snatched that microphone out of her hand, Kanye style.
Oh, man, no. There would have been somebody shot over that.
I know what you're saying, but that's what should have happened.
That's more than just a flesh wound, my friend.
That's what should have happened.
Yeah. No, you don't interrupt Hillary in her moment of time to shine. No. Not even Bill gets to do that. Bill had his turn, and he blew it. You see what I did there?
So, oh, wait. This is her moment.
Oh, God. We got to do
I do.
No.
I would have been I so vividly remember. Listen, I so vividly remember to this day. I was young when Bill got it, and it was "Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow" playing, and I was like, "Oh, I think
you really had Fleetwood Mac up there.
I was
playing
a little
too,
kid, and I was like, "Man, we're screwed."
Yeah, weren't they actually playing? No. They played before then. That's right.
Yeah, but
and it was kind of a big deal because they hadn't been together in a while. Yeah.
But they played
Stevie
that song.
looked
And all
rough.
these, but so they're playing Katy Perry over it now.
Yeah,
Bill had a better choice.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, way better.
And I like the Katy Perry song. It's all right.
I'm not a fan, but
it's okay.
That's
I mean, for what
if
it
it's
is,
good,
you know.
but if it fit the moment, it fit the moment. I don't think it did.
I'm more of a Beatles fan myself. So
it's not really about. It's just fitting what they're trying to do. They're trying to make a moment in people's minds. It's going to be imprinted.
A firework,
right? Something you're going to always remember. Because I still that's why I look at.
Come on, show them what
Clinton.
you're
So, like, when it comes to politics and just being a complete outright scumbag, but really, really good at it, like, he's the best. And because I still remember when this happened with him. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I still hadn't stopped. Doesn't look good.
No.
Doesn't look too bright.
No, it doesn't.
But, yeah, so I guess we can turn our attention back to how we're about to start World War III with Russia.
Yeah, and when President Trump addresses different dignitaries from different countries, which dignitary do you think he'll be the first one to drop the F-bomb on? The Queen of England? Nah, she...
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a really good question. He'll do it.
We need to have get like a betting
already
pool going, like an anti-media office pool going on that one.
I hope he does. I hope he gets
Which foreign dignitary will he drop the F-bomb on first? In a fit of rage, too, not just like casually, because I don't think he would use it casually. Donald Trump is a very calculated dude.
Very calculated. That's
it's
what's
going to
so
be a fit of
scary
rage.
about him. That's what's so scary.
And they make some insulting comment about their wife.
We've got a story up. We've got a story up right now on the antimedia.org by writer Josie Wales, and it talks about that, how Trump's stolen the glory of this election. Like, their numbers are tanking, and like all the attention's on him. They're sitting there going, "Love Trump's hate." They got slogans about him.
Yeah. And I'm sure Trump's is in big letters, too. He likes it.
He don't care.
Yeah.
They're talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
That's his goal. That's all he wants. Just keep talking about me.
Yeah.
And they fell in for it. I'm falling for it right now. He's good at what he does. He's really good at what he does. And that makes him, I think, really, really scary.
I don't know if I'd say good.
No, he can sell.
He's effective.
Yes, that's a because
I think a lot of it he kind of backs
into an
accident.
That's a more appropriate word. You're correct.
It's kind of like feeling around in the dark. Oh, okay.
I think he's good at moving on the fly. Like, I think he's good at I think he's good at improv. Like, he can improv.
Definitely.
This.
He can riff.
He's that good at what he does. He's done it for that long. And I think this is with
TV cameras staring at him.
Let me say this. It's all manipulation, I think. Every bit of it.
Hillary does her best work when the cameras are off.
Right. Yeah, that's the difference.
Oh, yeah. That's a big difference.
Hillary goes to work when the cameras are off, and I think Donald goes to work when the cameras are on. That's a good...
Yeah. I mean, that really... Yeah. Until we... Yeah. till we just kind of sussed that out. That I never really thought of it.
Oh, look at her! She is just bouncing balloons like 18-year-old.
What color's her pantsuit? I haven't seen
white.
That.
She's an all white.
Oh, it's the same color as the top.
How white?
Well,
it's not
cream,
Labor. Yeah, it's not
cream,
Labor Day.
off yellow.
She can
Like
get away with that. Yeah.
White eggnog color.
Can you? And they got old Kane up there.
Off-white.
Can you believe the audacity?
Off-white for the Democratic Party. I love
that guy. Can you believe the audacity?
There's some thought went into that color. Yeah, that color scheme there. Slightly off-white.
Yeah. I hate to bring up like the real news in the world is just so horrible. Turkey's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really bad. Did you see the story about how U.S. homeownership rate is the lowest it's been in 50 years?
I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. And they're talking, you've got people up this week praising the economy.
Well, we have 2 out of 3 members of this radio show are not homeowners.
That's correct.
Yeah, that is correct.
It's just easy.
Kevin stayed really quiet during that portion of it.
Mine's actually for sale now. So
I know a house you can rent up the street. Rent's cheap over
here. So, did y'all see when they were chanting "No More War" with Panetta?
Yes, I did.
That was pretty good.
Oh, Leon!
I hope everybody remembered what that looked like, because that was the anti-war left that we've been looking for years.
Yeah, Bernie got them stirred up.
Yeah, what happened to those guys?
Bernie got them stirred up.
That was them.
Hadn't seen the anti-war left in quite some time. They've been really, really quiet.
They suddenly appeared.
The living hell out of Middle East now.
They suddenly appeared, and they'll be gone after this.
Here's a curveball I want to throw out there that I used to just harp about. And I hadn't talked about it as much lately, and I should. 108 people so far this year in Saudi Arabia, our great friends, executed. Which, it really is horrible as that is, which it is. What's going on in Turkey right now are another, wonderful, let them do what they're doing. They're sorting it out. Our allies, they'll figure it out.
The same ones who were buying oil from ISIS.
It's bad what's happening there. Like every country.
Horrible.
Right in that area. It's just bleeding from one to another.
Let me ask you a quick question. Were any of those, the people that run those countries at the DNC tonight? Old news. Get off it. Hillary is...
bought and paid for by Saudi Arabia.
Bought and paid for.
That's not even a secret.
Yeah. Remember 28 pages we were all talking about? We used to talk about it all the time. They redacted them. And then suddenly, they unredacted them. We know it's in the 28 pages now.
Do you know why that was underwhelming for me personally? It was like, oh, that's what I figured.
No, that's what we've said
what I mean? That's,
time and time again on this show.
Right. It was just like, yep, pretty much what I expected.
Oh, that tinfoil hat that we were wearing the whole time was blocking out what was really going on.
Yeah.
Well, that was what was really going on.
Yeah, well, that was what the story.
I'll put my hat back on now. Thank you very much.
The story of John Lennon being like, the government's following me, they're tapping my phones, and everybody's like, oh, that guy's done one of those acid trips. He's gone crazy. And guess what? They were doing it. Because Nixon was super paranoid.
Yep.
So, people say something over and over and over, and they sound like lunatics, and then it all comes out they weren't. And I think so much of that is peer pressure. I think people believe a lot more than they're willing to admit in public because they don't want people to look at them funny. And I think that is because of the internet, people can get out there and just be like, I don't, say what I want. And I think that has stirred up what's behind Bernie, and I think that stirred up what's behind Trump.
Well, it's also helped the third-party candidates and all of the the movement that's been going on behind that, and it's also helped the liberty movement, anarchy, which does not mean what everybody when you mention the word anarchy thinks of some punk kid with his hair
Yeah,
spiked
it's not
up
a Sex Pistols record.
No, it's really not.
Or video.
It's definitely and the various different subdivides within that community. It's really fascinating to check it out, particularly in this day and age. I mean, unfortunately those alternatives are being blocked out by all of this big, giant, huge, massive, and pointless fireworks show that is the Republican National Convention, the Democratic National Convention.
It's good TV, though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but that's all it is TV. At the end of the day, the agenda will still be followed, whether it be by Hillary
Republican
Clinton or
convention
Donald
was a
Trump.
Donald Trump talk show.
Yeah.
It was like do 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 do.
It was pretty boring.
So what do you think about Hinckley? They're going to release Hinckley.
Why?
He's going to go live with his mom. But he's kind of already been doing it. He's just
How old is he now? Like 80?
Let's see. He's got to be old.
Well, maybe not that old.
How
but
old's his mom?
Oh, she's got to be 80.
It was 34 years ago.
And how old was he then?
Hinckley's 61.
Okay. Well.
So he was young when he did that. Yeah, that's no. He could have been that legit crazy. Jodie Foster. For those who don't know the story, that's an interesting story that he supposedly was in love with Jodie Foster and decided he was going to kill Ronald Reagan. Yeah. Why is it always...
He is out.
Huh?
Getting out.
Yeah, and the next president of the United States would have been a man that you probably heard of. His name was George Bush Sr.
Right.
That guy.
That would have been fun how that worked out.
Oh, what a creep.
And you know that Bush and Reagan hated each other's guts. Right. They hated each other.
They were not Facebook friends.
Nobody.
Okay.
That was a political... They had
fight
to be,
if there was
that
one,
was
yeah.
he has to be on the ticket. There's no way around this. We don't want you being the nominee, but you're certainly not going to be it without us putting him on there. And then John Hinckley shows up with a crazy crush on Jodie Foster, and shoots Reagan.
Breaking news on Facebook from one of my Hillary supporter friends. Just ugly crying while watching History in the Making.
Oh, my goodness. I'm going to go ahead and go to area code 361. Thank you for calling Anti-Media Radio. This is your host, S.M. Gibson. Tell us your name, where you're calling from tonight.
Hey guys, my name is Michael.
Michael, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, listen, you guys. Hey, how you guys doing?
Man,
hey, listen, you guys were talking about Hinckley and his kind of weird connections. Look, John Hinckley Sr., the shooter's dad, was the largest donor to the Bush 80 campaign. Bush ran against Reagan in that election that year before he became Reagan's running mate. His dad, John Hinckley Sr., was the largest donor to the Bush 80 campaign. And the night that the shooting happened, Neil Bush, who later headed up Silverado Savings and Loan, which was like the SNL scandal in the 80s, he was supposed to have dinner with John Hinckley Sr. that night. That's just some interesting stuff.
Wow.
You guys didn't know that?
I did not know that.
I think I've actually heard.
Yeah, seriously, check that out. Yeah, I'm not making that up. Yeah, that's absolutely 100% true.
Man, it never stops. The details that are the most juiciest that the public never gets to cross through their ears are always the ones you really the ones that callers call in with, man. That I'm so glad that they do.
The devil's in the details.
Oh, most likely, most definitely.
Yeah, no, but seriously, that like got like maybe like a half hour of news play. I was a kid when that happened. I was like maybe like 9 years old when Reagan got shot, and yeah, I remember hearing about that on the news like that afternoon, because it happened I think like at about 3:00 or something in the afternoon, and I was at home in after school, and they that was the only thing on TV, and yeah, they said something about that, and then I don't remember that all, but I remember them saying something about it, and then researching it later on, yeah, it's all the information's out there.
Wow.
Yeah, and that Reagan actually picked Bush during a break in the convention, like a half hour before he named him. He didn't go into the convention wanting Bush.
I knew that. I mean, they hate each other.
Oh yeah. Well, and what was Bush's job prior to being the vice president?
It was like 5 years before he was the head of. He wasn't the head of the CIA for that long, but he was certainly the head of it.
Hey, another interesting person to check out is a woman named Barbara Honegger, and her last name is spelled Honegger, and she was William Casey's secretary, and he was the CIA director underneath Reagan. And check out the notes of her of the meetings that she kept as part of her diary. There's some really interesting stuff in there. And remember that that as soon as Trump called out Papa Cruz for hanging out with Lee Harvey Oswald, shut it down happened. So yeah, there's way more than we're seeing.
I agree. I tell you what, great call, Michael. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a good night.
You too.
Thanks, bro. You too. He's called in before.
Why didn't they invite?
Spoke to him before.
Why didn't they invite Hinckley to the DNC? That would have been a pretty good speech.
He can't leave. We can't leave where he's at.
Oh.
He's got to stay in his proximity.
They could have put a bracelet on him, one of them little ankle bracelets.
They used him for what they needed him for.
Yeah.
You let him go back live with his mom now.
Yeah.
Ain't it weird that they didn't kill him?
Well,
that's one of the rare occasions, I guess.
I guess it's all in who you know, right?
Mm-hmm. Apparently the guy that was scheduled to have dinner with Neil Bush's dad.
It's weird how that works out, huh?
Yeah, that's odd. So I'm going to have to go dive into that rabbit hole. So do you... Genuine question. Relationship, Putin, Trump. Kevin, what do you think on this? That's two huge egos going into
Oh, yeah, they probably have somewhat of a mutual respect for each other. And between Putin and Hillary, between Trump and Hillary, Putin is Hillary's Trump. It's late. Trump is obviously the one who's made more friendly overtures towards Russia, more so than Hillary ever has.
No, she'll start World War III.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I think, Putin probably definitely entertains the idea of, as far as it concerns Russia, that, a Trump administration would probably be better on Russia's behalf.
I kind of look at foreign policy, and see, the thing about Trump is his unpredictability, and you can't really, because he's so, you don't trust him because I think he's just talking to whatever audience he's front of. Mm-hmm. You don't really know what to believe with him. But I kind of feel similar to the 2008 election, where it's at least on foreign policy, maybe Obama will be a little bit better, because I know what John McCain's going to do, and that's not going to be good at all.
Right.
And so that's kind of how I feel about Hillary. She's kind of taking the place of John McCain. I know what's coming, and I don't want it. That's not going to work out. That's going to make everything we've done so far look cute.
Oh, yeah.
And I think she'll do it immediately.
Oh, it won't take long. And she'll just be acting, on the behalf of the powers that be,
Well, I think probably, that's true. And there's no telling how long it would take for there to be some sort of terrorist attack, something crazy to be like, look what Iran did, and then just kick it off, and then there it is.
Perfect opportunity.
Yep. And Russia's like, no, you don't. And then NATO's got all those troops positioned right there going, hi, we were waiting, suckers.
Already ready.
We're ready. That's where we're headed with, if she won't be, thankfully.
No, she won't be.
Suggesting that the system is not rigged. What were you saying?
It's just again. Now this Pence guy, I don't know if you can trust him. he may be somebody to look into a little bit more, which I've been meaning to do, and I've been so busy with everything.
Yeah, who?
Yeah.
Oh, that guy that's running with Trump?
Yeah, because when I dive in, like I know, and like
it's all about Trump.
I know the normal stuff about him, but like I really want to like do the research on him and like learn everything he ever voted for and everything.
He's gonna be vice president. What is a vice president?
Because you can figure out where he's
show up at like grocery store.
You can figure out who owns him and look at figure out who owns the guy, and then you'll know where that's going.
The American government owns him.
No. Different people own different. You got to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
There's different corporations at play here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And they're all working for the same goal.
Mm-hmm. And now you get the banks, and they kind of oversee everything.
Mm-hmm.
But you get...
working very closely hand in hand with the government and the
because the Republicans work very close with the gun lobby, but the Democrats don't. They don't work with... They work with the anti-gun lobby. So they all have different people they work with, but yeah, the end goal for the American people is the same. We're screwed no matter what.
Yeah.
But I think they do have different agendas they're trying to push through. Like I do think Obama, and he may not, because again, I don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth, but I could see it being feasible that Trump getting rid of Obamacare. I can see it being feasible.
He can't do it. Yeah, it'll have to be act of Congress, and Congress is going to be in no rush to do it. They haven't been.
No, it really is going to depend on the lobbyist money that.
Well, because everybody's waiting. It's like with
way.
the Supreme Court, everybody's just kind of waiting.
In other words, the
just
insurance
to hurry
company,
up and get through.
The insurance companies are going to have to spend some of that money that they've just stolen from the American people. Stolen because it was basically forced for Americans to get health care or go further.
It wasn't basically forced. It was forced.
Yeah. Just like all other taxes.
They will fine you money if you don't.
Yeah.
In the land of the free, home of the brave.
Yeah. And if you don't pay that money, then
all
you'll be fined on top
those
of
troops
that.
They sit there and weep over, which is horrible. I feel bad for their families. Are whole thing's just a tragedy. But they're not fighting for anything. I hate it for them. It's really sad. It's really, really, really sad.
And the troops themselves are starting to realize this. We've seen,
They used to years and years ago.
We've seen a few articles pop up here and there that have shown that Gary Johnson's getting a lot of favor, getting a lot of love from the troops.
Speaking of the Bushes, guess what? One of the Bushes came out and endorsed him. So. Big deal.
Which one?
I shouldn't.
Jeb.
Well, Jeb's thinking about it, but
Marvin, I think.
Yeah, one of the younger ones. That shouldn't necessarily reflect on Johnson. It's probably more of an indication of Trump.
Yeah.
When
Ronald Reagan voted Mondale.
And even the most diehard neocons won't even vote for your guy.
Whose guy?
Not your guy, you personally, but I mean, even when most of your neocons won't vote for the head of the Republican Party. It's no surprise that they would go.
They're split in two directions. Some are going towards Hillary, and some are going to Johnson. I think there's way more going to Hillary because she's the better bet.
Established neocon, yeah.
Yeah, I mean she's got a lot better opportunity here, and I think the Bushes that are playing towards the future. That's why they're playing the long game because that's what the Bushes do. They'll go away for a while, but they'll come back.
Yeah,
and they play the long game. I can see that. That makes sense from the endorsement of Johnson.
George Sr.'s seed is very strong.
Right. And so they're playing that out. That's like, we got to start now because we ain't going nowhere, suckers.
Jeb's still young. Jeb's
finished. Jeb will never be.
I think he's golfing right now.
Yeah, Jeb's done.
Everybody
found out what Jeb really was. He was just a funny man that had no business tying his own shoes.
What's Marco Rubio doing these days? I didn't see him at the convention.
He's running.
Trying to run for his re-election.
He's running again. He just changed his mind. He's coming back.
Coming back to where?
Back to run for the Senate. He said he was.
He's a senator? Oh, I didn't know
that. Yeah. He doesn't show up to work, so it really don't matter.
Nah. I wouldn't either if I had that gig.
No, and Speaking of somebody that sold out to lobbyists, man, that guy was so going to be the president.
Yeah.
I really, truly believe he was meant to
That
be
was
the
Nick
guy.
Burnaby's pony.
Yeah.
Broke his leg around the first turn.
Yeah, Trump put that thing out of its misery. He took it out back and shot it.
Give me the 12 gauge.
Yeah, Jeb and
Mercy killing.
Jeb, and he took them all out back.
Little Marco.
And I tell you what, the one that wasn't going anywhere, that's what made the Cruz thing so funny. He wasn't going anywhere.
No.
He was fighting that tooth and nail.
Yeah, he
and
was.
Trump said, don't make me drop the atomic bomb because I will be doing it.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't want to kill all these civilians, but you forcing my hand.
Yeah.
And
who's your dad?
And he was going to kamikaze mission. And there was going to be 1 million people dead. Nope. Trump said that's not going to happen.
Nope.
We're going to go ahead and end this now. There was a picture of your dad with Lee Harvey Oswald. Start explaining, and he was out. Good night. That's pretty funny.
I wonder if he'll get a curt conversation about that when he finally gets to go into the White House and they close the doors and have that little briefing with him.
I don't know. I think
here's what you can talk about and here's what you'll never talk about.
it is pretty unfathomable to think that he's going to be the president. Like, it's nuts. That is the craziest thought of all time. And the unpredictability of the situation. But I think anything's possible. And I don't mean that in a good way. That's not like, oh, it's fine, you know.
Which
joy and praise are here now. I don't.
Foreign dignitary is he going to drop the F-bomb on first?
I don't know.
I'm thinking Latin America.
He's going to have like a nightly talk show. It's just going to be ridiculous. He'll be giving a press conference every single day.
Yeah.
Anytime he can get a camera on him, he will have it.
Yeah.
He'll have cameras in the Oval Office. You watch. It's going to be the Donald Trump TV show.
The most transparent.
Hey, we may get that. Well, no, he's sneaky too. I don't trust him.
Cut those cameras off.
I don't trust him. Yeah. Edit that part out.
Yeah.
So, you know, at least laugh all we can.
Who's going to be his press secretary, I wonder?
That's a great, that's a fascinating question. Who?
Bill O'Reilly.
It'll be somebody. It'll be one of these.
Alex Jones.
It'll be one of these people that's who it should be. Good gosh, those people are just. Joe Biggs has lost his mind. They've just bought full in. Good for them, I guess. They're getting paid, I'm sure. Do your thing, because that's what it seems like.
Unlike those little girls that sang that song for Trump.
Like, it seems like they're
Remember
going.
them little girls?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, them little girls, they
You were talking about that story.
Yeah, there was the little girls that sang the song during one of his rallies there, and apparently they were going to like record a song or something like that. And there's a story floating around right now from the manager or father of the girls, or he's connected them somehow. And apparently there's a lawsuit against Trump, travel expenses or something along those lines. Well, I don't know if it's reached lawsuit phase, but it's being very vocal, or being broadcast very vocally on media right now. Fun stuff. I'm sure we're going to see more of that as time goes along. We've already Trump has already skirted a couple lawsuits thrown his way, which I guess is to be expected. The stories are flying left and right. Now you're starting to see a lot. Somebody had posted a Reddit on Facebook collection of all of the, and this was on yet another. This was actually one of the Bernie supporters that is grudgingly now throwing his vote behind Hillary Clinton. But basically, it was a Reddit that somebody had put together of all of the different Trump quotes, sexist, racist, Trump, whatever. Let me see if I can't find that real quick. I know we're almost out of time, but yeah, go check that out on Reddit. Just if anybody happens to say, well, why is Trump a horrible choice for president? You can just throw that out there real quick. Well, he said this, this, and this, and this.
No,
and they're actual quotes.
I'ma let them know through the stereo. Yo, here we go through the stereo.
This is Ozzy Skateboard, and you're listening to